Let's talk about Capitec, which is a full retail bank with over 6 million retail customers, and it was established in March 2001.
Exactly, those days, I remember it well. They listed on the market, on the stock exchange at R2 a share in 2002. It came out of the PSG stable, and wow, what an incredible success. It went from R2, that's R2, you know, R2. I'm just making that point. It's now trading at 600 Rand a share.
I hope that you have enjoyed some of that upside.
Almost none.
Moving quickly on, market cap here, 69.3 billion Rand, price to earnings ratio of 21.5, dividend yield here of 1.8%. Have you enjoyed some of that rally from
unfortunately, like Paul, I haven't. I've been in more the traditional financial counters, but this, as I said earlier, is really one of the huge success stories in South African banking, where they've done the right things from the beginning. That mass market being able to tap into, but in a very cost-effective manner. Their cost-to-income ratio as a bank is unbelievable. It's 34%, dropped from 35% recently. So their huge competitiveness is this very strong technology base, low cost base, and then deploying that into their market. So really almost like a new age bank, I would say.
Don't be scared to vary the shots on the show. Right, so Capitec right now, though, Paul and I were concerned about it yesterday, saying that given what happened to Abel, you have Capitec, you have a consumer that may be coming under severe pressure. Would you share our concern?
Yes and no. So yes, in terms of the overall sector, but Capitec and comparing it to African Bank, I think is a little bit unfair. Totally different ethos and approach to doing business. Interestingly, they don't have those highly regulated products that have caused Lewis such problem in the sector. They're actually just entering into that retrenchment insurance and that kind of insurance products. So they're quite well positioned. The problem with Capitec is the overall environment, as you correctly say. They're so big, they can't get away from the macroeconomic situation of South Africa and the markets they operate in.
Paul, your thoughts? I mean, am I clearly reflecting our conversation yesterday about Capitec?
Look, the pressures that they face are just simply that this small lending activity is still a very big part of their profitability. Yes, they've become a major player in the transaction banking arena with 6 million plus customers depositing their paychecks and everything. So they're first division. They're not a smaller bank. They're with the other big 4 or 5 in this country.
6 million customers.
Yeah, and they've got an enormous deposit base, which gives them considerable strength and solidity in their funding. But my point is just that there have been accusations that they're involved with certain kinds of payday lending activities. There's just a sense also that the stock has been very tightly held. So as it's pushed higher to 600 rands a share, it's now on a very elevated price to earnings ratio, implying that it expects substantial further growth. And I'm just concerned that maybe in future reporting periods the growth might not be quite as spectacular as hoped for.
I think you're right. The problem is they've had this tremendous growth, and to keep growing off that huge base that they have is going to be very difficult, especially given the macroeconomic headwinds that we face. Quite a demanding rating, especially in this sector, 21 around. Return on equity is much higher than the other banks, but you must probably find better value maybe in some of the larger established financial banks. They really are cheap at the moment.
I want to look at performance at this point in the conversation, so let's get that share price graph up.
So really tremendous performance in 2014, and to some extent that's because their competitor Abel was crashing at that time. So there was a sense that there was more business to be done, and there was indeed loans that were taken on, consolidated.
It looks as though we're at an all-time high, or there and thereabouts still.
Although we have visited those kinds of levels before. So, I mean, it is reaching right now. But I mean, Gerrie Coetzee and his colleagues, they do such a great internal job. They've built out so many new branches. They are really rolling. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go even higher. I don't know.
Are you invested in Capitec at the moment?
I'm not. And I think it's really run its course in terms of the phenomenal increases. It's now established, and it will have to eke out gains in quite a tough environment. I think there's, as I said earlier, better value elsewhere.
Hot or not?
Not.
Well, I mean, yesterday we sold our PSG stake in part because we were concerned that Capitec was fully
It
valued.
would really be inconsistent if
Yeah.
you called Capitec hot today. I just have to point that out
I
before
would
you
say
make
so.
your call.
Exactly. So not hot, although it's close, I must say.